Coming up on this week's episode, Strong Girls, Stronger Moms. What's it really like raising teenage daughters and how to build and keep that trust? Ready or not, teaching them to stand on their own 2 feet starts now. How to hack your village, and is being a stay-at-home mom the easier route? The moms are unanimous on this one.
I'm Heather. I'm Jess, and this is Just Us Gals.
Mommy.
Welcome to a very special episode of Just Us Gals. It is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. And we wouldn't be us without these 2 special ladies. We have my mom, Karen. Hello.
And my mom, Debbie, is joining us. And I can't help but laugh because I think everyone knows someone with a mom named Karen or Debbie. It's like the most common name.
How classic is it for a Karen to have a child named Jessica? That is so boomer millennial.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It sure is.
Okay. Jessica's the new Karen for sure.
It is. All of the Karen memes have now turned into Jessica memes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. My mom doesn't love the whole Karen persona.
Not right now.
No, I don't think I would either. But
especially since we all have to go a little Karen every once in a while.
Yeah. I think it should be a Debbie meme.
No! I'm not changing it.
But I went to school with 4 Jessicas in my class.
Yeah.
So
that's surprising.
Yeah.
Correct.
There was a lot. And my new desk mate at my new job is also a Jessica. So
oh my gosh.
There's always a Jessica wherever I go.
Are you the same age?
There's always a Jessica. Well, tell the story. When I was born, you asked the nurse.
Oh, yeah. I said to the nurse, I love the name Jessica, but isn't that a popular name? And she said, oh, no, not at all. So that's why I called Jessica to find out I was right. It is very popular.
Yes, you should have stuck with your gut. That's what you always do.
But I always liked the name Jessica. So
there you go.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so brief introduction. We'll start with my mom. Tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe your favorite stage of parenting.
Oh, okay. My name is Karen, obviously. We just talked about that. 3 daughters. The first 2 daughters are just over a year apart. And then the youngest daughter, there's a gap of 4.5 years. Favorite part of motherhood? Well, they all have their different times. I guess toddler is good. But toddler isn't always good. School age is good. And then, of course, when they hit grade 5, then you hit the hormonal stage and the teenager stage. So they're all good and bad and different sort of things. Mm-hmm. So I can't really pick what the favorite is. It's just
there's favorite moments of each stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Reassuring.
Yeah, good way of, I guess, putting
that.
Yeah.
All right, Debbie, let's hear you.
Well, I have 4 daughters. And they range in age from 35 to 27. So I had 3 kids in 4 years, and then there's a gap, a 4.5 year gap, I guess, just like you, Karen. And then the youngest one was born. My favorite stage, I don't know what. I don't know. You caught me off guard with that question. But what I would say is becoming a mom, it really surprised me how much I liked it. I didn't expect.
Yes.
Didn't you tell me that?
I didn't expect.
You didn't want to have kids, I thought.
I didn't.
You know, it's funny you say that because I wasn't 100% sure either.
Yeah.
And then my passion, right? Having kids.
Yeah.
Heart
very
and soul
much.
went into mothering. It was number 1.
Yeah.
So
very quickly. And before I had Heather, she's
the oldest.
She's the oldest. So before I had Heather, all kinds of people were like, you aren't going to want to stay home. You're going to want to go to work. You've got to keep your job. You're going to, I can just tell. I know you, blah, blah, blah. And back then, mat leave was 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I remember.
And then it was 3 months. And then I think it went to 6 months somewhere in there. And now it's a year.
Yeah.
Oh, 18 months.
Or
even
18
if you want.
months, yeah. And I remember thinking, okay, like I didn't think anything of it when they told me these things, but I didn't feel that way.
No,
at
it was
all.
so amazing.
At all.
Funny you say that, because with my eldest, Alicia, I went back after 3 months and I got a nanny to go back to work. And I remember crying that night because I thought she'd become closer to the nanny. So, but never happens.
No.
But yeah, it's kind of, you become very attached.
Yeah.
So the career isn't as important as maybe you thought it was before you had the kids.
I agree with that,
Yeah,
right? Your
yeah.
career is like you're 20-something, you're so focused on your
Absolutely.
career, and then you
Yeah.
have kids and you completely pivot and
Right.
Yeah.
It's a different
changes your
focus.
priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really changes your priority. And I went back to work part-time, went back to teaching when Heather was a year old, and did that for a year and a half till Hillary came along. And then once Hillary was in the picture, I stayed home for other reasons, but I
She was
thought
colicky.
Hillary was so colicky. I thought I
So
can't
is
leave her
that a
with
second
anybody.
born thing?
Couldn't.
Yeah.
It might be. I've heard
don't
that
know.
it is. I've heard that the firstborn is so much is easygoing, and
To
there's
trick you.
a sweet kid, just to make you think I could do this again. And then you have the second one. It's like, holy cow!
what
And
just
after I
happened?
after I had Hillary, I remember saying, if she had been the first, she'd be the
You
only.
wouldn't have any.
Absolutely.
But then you went on to have 2 more after, which is incredible.
Right, because Heather wasn't colicky.
I was perfect, and I still am to
Stop
this
there.
day.
You just keep telling yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have stopped when you achieved perfection the first time.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yeah.
I knew after Hillary came along that, I'm going to stay.
I'm not
I'm going
sicking
to
this
stay
on
home
anyone.
for a few years.
Yeah.
So, Debbie, tell us, because you did both. My mom worked, she's an entrepreneur. She worked throughout my whole childhood. So she did both, right? She balanced it.
Yeah.
So you did both, but separately. So tell us, I know there's kind of that debate, like what is harder, being a working mom or being a stay-at-home mom?
I think I could answer that.
What's harder? I mean, it's no picnic being a stay-at-home mom.
No, I
It
think
is so much work and
Absolutely.
responsibility.
Yeah.
It's just, and it never ends. And there's
Yeah.
always doctor's appointments, and somebody's
Cleaning up.
sick, and then all of them are sick at the same time, and you've been up all night with a sick kid, and
Yeah, because I would fall
then
solely
they
on
all
you.
wake up at 7:00 or whenever it is, and you've got to get through the whole day because the ones that weren't sick are fine, and they still need to eat and play and do whatever. So
It's a heavy load.
it's a lot. It's a lot. I remember when I went back after the third one. Caroline was 2, so I went back, but it was a part-time job in a Hallmark store, actually. I didn't go back to teaching, and loved the job. It was great, but it was a break.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yes.
that was,
Yeah.
that
It's the breaks.
really gave me,
Yeah.
that's
Life
what
sanity.
made it so positive. And I think Heather understands that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I say it was a break, and they're like, "Oh,
Just trying to get away from
No,
it.
it's
you're trying to
true.
get away from us." But now,
But you are.
and Jess, you probably feel the same way
I do.
a little
I do,
bit.
yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
I remember, and I only worked when my husband was home because, of course, babysitting. I'm not going to pay for babysitting when I'm working at a Hallmark store.
Yeah.
The evenings that I worked, it was such a
It's probably so calm. Yeah.
he bathed them, put them to bed, and it was just a break. Every Monday and Tuesday night, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah. It's funny how that is. But I think I completely agree. Because I did an extended mat leave because of COVID. So I ended up being home for 2 years, and when I went back to work, yes, it is also extremely hard being a working mom.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, you're up all night and you're still going into work the next day, and then you have a shorter amount of time to get everything done that you need to get done. But the mental load it takes to be a stay-at-home mom, to like constantly trying to be thinking of things to do, to keep them entertained. What are you going to be making for dinner? What are you going to be doing this, and that was, I found, more draining than going into a job each day. But then the problem with being a working mom is the guilt that I feel for working and not being with my kids all day, because that's also what you're supposed to be doing. So I don't know. Can you win? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if you can, but my mom, you worked from home a lot, so I feel like that's tough. Did we let you do that?
Well,
How?
long story short,
I remember walking in the door from school, then the office door would close.
I was on my own for a couple years though too, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I had to work, and I had to count on the nanny a lot. And she helped a lot, and she, you know, I had my mom interview her, I had my friends interview her. She fit right into our family. So she was great with the girls. So, yeah, and then after things had changed and I got remarried, and then that's when we had Kristen, the third child. But at that point, then I found a career, or I made myself a job that allowed me the flexibility. And
So you were kind of half and half, because you did the school drop-offs and the pickups.
I did,
and then the field trips and whatnot, but you were also juggling a
exactly.
workload too.
Yes. So it gave me the flexibility that I could do the school trips,
Right.
and I was able to still fit my hours into the schedule around you girls. So that's kind of, when I had that was amazing, right? So I could always have that flexibility.
So we see those moms listening who work after hours, after bedtime to make it work, right?
That would have been a lot of, and that just became routine.
Yeah.
That's the way it was, because
Which is now what Alicia, the oldest, does.
Yeah, because it affords you the opportunity to spend time with your kids,
Yeah.
to go to the schools, to do this, to do that. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
you make it work, right?
You do what you have to
somehow make
do
it work.
to make it work for everybody, for not just for the kids, but for you. Like, how am I going to cope? And what makes me feel good, right? And everybody makes a different decision.
And I feel that it takes a village to raise kids too. And I say that because when they were little, I was fortunate enough to have my parents that could help. Like Oma was there. Friends, as you were in school, we would do pickups, because a lot of us worked and would have activities and stuff like that. So we would carpool, we would do all these things.
Carpooling, that's a good hack.
So
that's
we
a really good
did
hack.
a lot of these things, us moms together, and we'd always say it takes a village to raise kids.
Heather,
right?
the school you're sending Penny to next year for grade 1, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, Debbie, it's within walking distance from your house as well, right?
Not just my house, but Heather's, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-minute, 10-minute drive. For me.
Yeah, you have to. It's hard to do
Yeah,
on your
right?
own
So those
sometimes.
decisions are made based around the village as well, right?
Yeah.
So
That's why I moved back to Calgary.
Yeah.
Because
I
I was
can
living
see
in
that.
Edmonton and I didn't have any family there, and so moved back to Calgary because it was like, this is where almost my whole family lives, and that's why we picked the South, because my whole family's in the South. And I need babysitters. I
The whole support system, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
fair.
It's a huge support
Or
system.
like there's times too where like I get a phone call from Penny's day home, and it's like, Chloe just puked and can't get hold of Max, he's in a meeting, I'm downtown, and I'm like, okay, I can get there in like an hour, or I can just call up my parents and they'll be like, okay, we got her. And
Absolutely.
I'm like, that's you need
And
that.
I feel, though, as a grandparent now, I really want to be involved and do that. Don't you find that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to be there.
I know,
I
so
want to
with
be
you.
part of their lives, and because I do understand, and I can relate to my daughters now with children and working and juggling. So now I'm able to give back and help them, right? Because I understand that.
We were really happy when they moved to Calgary.
Yes.
But you gave up a lot moving to Calgary, like it career-wise.
Yeah.
And but all of your sisters are very
Involved.
very involved with the girls. Very involved. And
Lots
you
of
know,
support.
it's that village.
Yeah.
that, you know.
It's that village.
Again, it is, yeah, and it's so true. And you guys, you grew up on a street
Yes.
where
Loved it.
everyone was in the same boat.
Yeah.
Pretty much every single family was the same.
Same age range of kids.
Same
Yeah, we have
age
that
range.
And you just go
Yeah.
outside and play all day and like call on people.
I know.
knock on their
Yes.
doors.
And then
I
like,
looked
my-
forward
I
to
would
that.
Carpool and
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
neighbors
Yeah.
would all carpool. Luckily, the kids were all at the same school, so it was really nice.
Yes, and
Yeah.
even
We'd walk.
brownies or something. You know, someone would take them to brownies, someone would pick them up, and when they got a little older and the girls were all in sports,
Yes, activities.
either school teams or community teams, and it was the same way. Like we used to have kids come up. I said, I'll drive them if they're at my house. Like I'm not
Right.
driving all over the community picking up kids to take them to a game. But so they'd all come home after school
Yeah.
and eat everything in my fridge, and then I'd take them to their game. Right? It was hilarious. Like I didn't care,
Yeah.
except sometimes you know you think you know what you're having for dinner, and then you guys just ate.
Throwing it in the back seat as you're driving them. You were asking earlier, one of the favorite things about you guys growing up, I loved the activities, I loved the dance, the competitions, the makeup, all the moms, all the parents would get right involved in it. You had the dance dads, the dance moms. That
my
was
God.
so much fun. And when
Yeah.
that stopped, it really was kind of
Yeah, because
sad.
it's more than just dance. It's a community.
Yeah,
of
it's a
people.
community. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
It's the people you meet there
That's
that make
right.
it fun as well,
Yeah.
right? Like all the other parents.
and
So-
the same values and the same, a lot of
And we're still
similarities.
friends.
Yes.
You're still friends with some
Oh,
of the
yeah.
dance moms.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So, one thing we didn't do yet is a win or loss of the week. And Heather, I heard Chloe in the background screaming. Is that your loss for the week?
Well, that's pretty much. It was just another classic bum loss. One kid gets a bad flu, and you get through that one just for the other kid to get hit with the same bad flu.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm dealing with right now, is just a household full of sickies, having to do a lot of laundry because of things getting wrecked and soiled. But that's definitely my loss, is just trying to make it through the week just to get another kid have the flu. So that's fun. Over to you. What is your win or loss of the week there, Mom?
Well, I think a win is that as far as my 4 girls are concerned, it was a quiet week.
That's good.
One was out of town. One flew away for a little vacation. So that obviously made it a little quieter. It's usually not that quiet.
What are some things that make it loud with your 4 adult children?
Mom! Mom!
Can we come live with you again?
Mom, we want to...
All my sisters.
Can we move in?
Yeah, they'll have house guests because two of my sisters have recently bought new houses, and there's been a little brief amount of time where they're homeless until they move back in with my parents until their new house is ready.
Kristen, our youngest daughter, and her family.
She's renovating her house, and
They
so
were with us for
all 4 of them and the cat moved in with my mom.
and our cat. Yeah, so we had them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then this morning I was there helping her as she's unpacking because they're moving in soon. So,
okay.
that's a win.
Yeah.
I think it's a win.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, sure.
having, delayed Easter because we were sick on Easter weekend. Had that in the entire family and all 6 grandkids, and the weather was great, and they were outside playing, and everybody was having a great time.
Nice.
Doesn't get much better than that.
No, especially when the weather it cooperates. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, and then Jack had his 7-year-old birthday party.
Yeah.
So you live
Fun.
it in a different way because it's not as much work, right? But you
Yeah.
can go and enjoy it.
I would say I'm in a bit of a loss right now, and it bleeds into our first question. So Emmy, my 5-year-old, she acts like a teenager. Like, she doesn't take criticism. Or like, if I'm trying to talk to her about her behavior in a very positive way to try and encourage her to change it, she covers her ears, she walks away, she's so defiant. If I try to put her on the step for a quick timeout, 5 minutes, because she's 5, she scurries away, she's extra sneaky, she's mean to her sister. It's just, we are in just like this like twister of just bad behavior, and I'm just trying everything I can to reach her. So moms, my question to you is, maybe is she getting it out of her system now and I'll be okay in the teenage years?
I don't think so, but I do feel,
I don't think so.
Absolutely
she's
not.
strong-willed, and it's good to have strong-willed kids, as hard as it is as a mom
It's
or
so
parents.
tough.
At that time, but you know what? They grow up and they know what they want. They're strong, right? When they're strong-willed like that. So you don't want to kill that spirit?
You don't.
Don't let up, though. Don't let up. Don't take your foot off the gas. Don't let up.
No,
like
no.
whatever you're,
Just hold
be
your ground.
consistent.
They sense weakness.
Rules are rules, right?
Absolutely.
Like Heather said, they know weakness as soon as they
do know
know
weakness,
right away.
They can smell
Yeah.
it.
Bro,
They're like, oh, I see where I can get her.
She's squashing her little sister's spirit. Like, Parker is like such a breath of fresh air. She's just such a happy kid. Like, when she was a baby, we'd say she's just happy to be here. She's like that as a 3.5-year-old as
Second-born.
well. Second born. She's just so happy. And then Emmy will come and elbow her, swat her, pull at her. Just I don't know. I feel like she's just squashing her.
stages.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Is that just a sibling thing?
I don't know.
Is she in kindergarten?
She is.
Yeah.
And school's good?
School's good.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
She's a really good student, which means
Perfectionist.
she comes home
Yeah,
and
lets loose.
Yeah. Right?
Right.
Okay. Her safe space.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she kept it together all day, and then
Exactly.
Yeah.
it kind of exploded.
Gotta
when they
let
got
it-
home.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be that safe space for her. At the same time,
But have boundaries.
I sometimes
Oh,
lose it
absolutely.
because I'm not perfect. But then I'm like, great, now I'm messing her up.
I don't know how many times I felt I lost it and thought, oh, I permanently damaged them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember.
And it's usually when you lose it, it's over something really small. And I remember the girls looking at me like, "What is your problem?"
Well,
But
it might
it's-
have built
it's
to
not-
that, though.
Yeah, but it's been building and building and
Building and
building,
building, yeah.
and then kaboom. And it's everything that happened before that actually caused the explosion.
That was the
they
straw that
just
broke
see
the camel's
the
back.
they
Yeah.
only see the whatever.
The explosion
like,
to something
Mom, can I
ridiculous."
have something to eat? Kaboom. They don't
Sorry,
realize.
I'll never ask to eat again.
It's true.
And never
Small
stopped
things
you.
like spilling juice on the floor.
Yeah, I might have a little childhood trauma over spilt milk. Yes, we do cry over
God.
spilt milk here.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
remember
so
when I-
one of our followers was actually asking, she wants to know what it is like raising teenage daughters.
Right? Who wants to take it?
I actually loved it.
Really?
I don't know if I
Yeah.
could say I loved it. I worried a lot.
The worry's unbelievable.
Yeah, the worry, the drama is there. But honestly, I think all three of you were pretty good.
I was
Considering
an angel.
Yeah, considering stories I had heard, but from a mothering
Yeah.
point of view, you worry a lot. And I guess that's when cell phones came in. We got you cell phones, and so when, of course, we texted, we expected a text back, right? Because you want to know where they are, who they're with.
Yeah.
There were curfews.
Oh, really?
What would you say? Yeah, I know. We don't even need to get into curfews because they were
it's just,
terrible to me.
That's a sore subject.
and you don't always
Yeah.
sleep until they're home,
Don't
right?
make that face. Yeah, that's true. I remember them saying that they just sit there waiting for us to get home.
Yeah.
But so I'm curious then, what would, if you can think of it, what would you guys say was the biggest worries that you did have when we were teens? Like, what is some of the big worries?
Boys.
Well,
Boys?
Getting in
It
with
was
the wrong
huge.
crowd. right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Drugs, there's a lot of stuff out there. Just staying safe,
Yeah.
feeling comfortable, knowing themselves enough that they could follow their intuition and not be a follower, right? So you hope at that stage you've taught them enough values, morals, and what feels right for them so that they can make the right decisions when they're teenagers. Did I answer that question? I don't know what
Yeah.
that question was.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
No,
Debbie,
no,
your immediate reaction was boys. Let's elaborate on that.
Absolutely. I mean, well, part of it is I was the only girl in my family, completely surrounded by all boys, like cousins and brothers and the whole bed. And the other side of it is I remembered. I mean, I used to say to the girls, "Look, I'm not as old as you think I am. I remember what it was like to be 16, 17, 18 years old, and I know what's going on. I'm not stupid,
For sure.
and I'm certainly not in denial." My husband's a high school teacher, so he would come home and he's just like, "Oh my God, these boys, it is one thing and one thing only, and they will do anything to get what they want." And even the good ones, like even the really nice ones, he'd hear them talking, and they'd be there'd be a group of them all chatting about whatever, the weekend, last night, whatever. And he said, "It's like I'm not even there."
Yeah.
They just, he
God.
couldn't believe what
And
they
a
were
dad
saying.
of four girls, he was horrified.
He was, but he also realized that, hey, there really is something that you've got to try to protect them from.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Alicia went to?
Yes, I do. She was at a fling, we'll call him a fling. I think she was 18. And
Was she even that old? I don't know.
17 maybe.
17, teenager.
Yeah, and I hear little footsteps.
So she
hear
went
them.
off to this boy's house, and apparently he lived on his own with other boys, and she went there with her friend. Well, I kind of hit the roof.
No.
You were nuts. I don't know if I've ever seen you like that, but I think we're just expecting the worst.
I just felt
and
she put herself in a vulnerable position, I felt.
right.
To be a young woman with all those young guys there. And so that's just the worry I had, right? To protect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't that I didn't trust her. It wasn't that at
Yeah.
all. It's just like you said, you know what young men at that age are wanting, right?
One track mind.
One track mind.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
and you're definitely naive when you're younger.
Oh,
I think.
absolutely.
That
When you're
won't
a
happen to me.
teenager,
It's the mama bear
my
that comes
gosh.
out, right? That you want to protect the children.
So what is something that you wish that we have taken or learned from you that we apply to our parenting as well?
Confidence.
Yes.
I hope that all the girls
Confidence,
are
knowing
feel
yourself,
confident. Yeah.
who you
Standing
are.
up for yourself. My youngest daughter was saying, "I remember you saying, don't ever rely on a man." I thought, well, yeah. She said, you wanted us to go to university, get a degree, be able to look after themselves. Because you just
Absolutely.
you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Anything, and
That was
and you
instilled
can't
a few
go through
generations
life that
back.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Taught to be independent, rely on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, get an education so you can stand on your own 2 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
not even looking to mommy and daddy all the time, like knowing that, hey, I can do this. This is what I need to do to get the ball rolling, and then if that doesn't work, then I can call my mom and dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Be an independent thinker, right? And be able to
Yeah.
think from A to Z and follow through.
So what's the way to teach that though? Is it just through communication?
Or just
less modeling?
both modeling and allowing them the opportunity to make the decisions and let them try it. I know it's baby steps right now because they're little,
Yeah.
but not correcting them, letting them figure it out.
And
think
it's
it
never
through.
too early to let them do that.
No, not at all. Then they're learning and they're thinking, and you know what, if it doesn't work out, that's okay, try something else, right?
Yeah.
It's not
That's
failure.
good. I feel
Or,
that.
you know, I remember telling them, you go talk to your teacher first, like this is your issue. Go talk to your teacher, and if nothing happens, then I'll help you out. But you handle it first, because of course she'll appreciate that a lot more than someone's mother running in there.
We used to do that.
So
too.
there was a lot of that, and when they started working, same thing. Like, go talk to this person and tell them what's wrong. Like, but you've got to do it. You've got to try it first.
Yeah,
yourself.
well, and especially in the dance world too, some of those teachers could be brutal. And they'd come home upset, and I would say, well, we can talk about it at home, and you go talk to your dance teacher, and if it got to the point where we couldn't, then I would intervene, but giving them the opportunity to work it out first.
Yes.
And then as they got older, I
Exactly.
would say, do you need help? And they'd say, no, we could do it, and handled it.
You're probably like, my job here is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little pat on the back.
Yeah. Look at these
Well,
kids.
I remember one of them in university. They all went away to university, and so she living in an apartment, and her fridge broke. Wasn't working at all. She's like, "Mom, will you call my landlord?" And I said, "No, you call your landlord." And I don't know, she's scary or whatever. Anyway, she ended up calling her landlord. 2 days later, she had a brand new fridge.
Yeah.
So it was like, whoa.
Wasn't that hard?
Again, if I had done that, it wouldn't have been the same life
That's right.
lesson for her at all.
Yeah.
Well, and it's empowering
Yeah.
for like the kid too to be like, oh, like I actually got something accomplished by doing it myself. Like I can do this.
One of the moments is when you flip twice, but the first time you flipped your car.
I flipped a
going
car on the way to Saskatoon.
to
Yeah.
two,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah, not good. And
Just a little fender bender.
I come down, and I thought I was going to come down to handle things for you, and you had it all
Oh,
handled.
but the second time, because I knew what to do.
you flipped a car twice?
Same.
So the first time there was a
Second
moose
time was
dead laying
old
on the road. Long story short, there was headlights facing me in the opposite direction, which was distracting me. So and I was the second person to hit this dead moose, and I like hit it and then catapulted off of like a ramp, landed on the passenger side, skid down the highway,
Oh
landed
my
back on the tires.
gosh.
This was an old
Yeah,
style
it's-
Mazda 3, and then second time around,
Again.
somebody lost a load of luggage and like garbage bags on the highway. Again, I was in a Mazda 3, and in my mind, I'm like moose. So I just cranked the wheel and it rolled into the ditch. Again, landing on the tires is a Mazda 3. This should be a Mazda 3 endorsement here.
Yeah.
But I caught this first time I was so shooken up. The second time I was less shooken up. I was just like, it happened again. I hitched a ride back to Saskatoon because it was closer to Saskatoon than I meant to
flew
the
in the
second
next
time.
morning.
That's right, you flew in the next morning, but I hitched a ride with the cops, the police, the RCMP.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I dealt with it the second
Yeah,
time.
and she had it all like, no.
Yeah.
So I
Live
guess
and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second car accident is easy.
That's
Driving's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
When they start driving.
How do you not let fear take over as a mom, though? I know you always say,
I know.
don't live,
You
don't
can't
worry
live
your
your
life
life in-
away.
yeah, you
don't
can't live your life
in
in fear.
But like,
Yeah.
there are some things that you just like. For me, I get those intrusive thoughts, and I just
I
like.
know.
You get the anxiety of the what ifs with the kids.
You put them in the back of your, just say, okay, goodbye, and put them in the back of
Yeah.
your head. I mean,
Just simple as that.
well, it's not always simple, but the fact of the matter is most of the time it doesn't transpire into
Help.
anything, right?
Yeah.
When you're
Right.
worrying, it's not a reality.
So you're just wasting
True.
energy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Worry about it when it actually
Well, I
happens.
actually thought if I worried, then everything would be okay.
Yeah.
You know, so
Try to control it all.
I did that. Oh, see, I was so worried. Now everything's fine. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, but yeah, I
know what
remember
you mean.
thinking that.
Like when they're in their teens, for sure. It's like, how do you?
Yeah.
Because you have no control. Once they're in their teens,
And that's the scary part is
That's
you
it.
don't
I know.
have control.
control. You hope that they make the right decisions, right?
But one thing we've always tried to live by is, it's like, I had a number of people say, oh well, you have no say in anything they're doing after a certain age, and I thought, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
We're their parents, so of course we have a say.
Guidance.
And I will tell them, and my husband will tell them, hey, this is how we feel about this person, or the boy, it's usually a boy, this is how we feel about them, or this situation, this is what we feel and what we think. Now, what you do with it, but is now it's up to you, but it's really important that you know that your actions affect other people.
I feel
in your family.
Yeah, we did that too. There were certain things you could not say anything, right? And then it was up to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it obviously really helps if you can remain calm and try not to be too judgmental. Your friends did what? Oh my God!
Try not to be judging.
Yeah.
That's a
I don't know how well you did.
You're doing a sleepover there. No, that's not.
That's funny. They weren't allowed to have sleepovers when they were teenagers.
Yeah.
No sleepovers.
I had to check out a couple times with my youngest. I went up to the door when she was in high school. Make sure the parents were there. Met the parents, because at that point you don't meet the parents anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I never went to any parties, because my parents had to go meet the parents, and most of the times the parents weren't there, so I just didn't go.
You have to meet them at the door.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you do have to trust them.
Yeah, I do remember.
Right.
I do remember saying, like, call anytime we were out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
You're ever in trouble or you need this? Yeah,
And we always picked you up from wherever
That's true.
you were.
I think that's going to be like one thing this is so important. Yeah, all the parties I didn't attend.
She makes it sound so bad. She was at parties because I remember waiting for
Barely.
you to call for me to pick you up.
Yeah, one I got to go to a year. So, yeah, it was always a rager.
And you're the oldest, right, Heather?
Yes. So
Yeah,
definitely
well.
the most strict.
I bet
Makes a difference.
when,
Hey,
it came
if you
time
just-
for the younger two,
least
the rules were a bit more relaxed.
Alicia didn't go to many parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she
Poor
didn't.
Penny. That's gonna.
And
be
they're all different too. Like all of you are very different to what you want to do, or what your interests are. So you think maybe with 4 girls you'd have more in common with one of
That
your sisters,
happens at different
they are
times.
so different. They're all very different kids.
And maybe with one doing the same thing with one child doesn't necessarily work with the other.
Oh, absolutely.
Personality,
That's-
right? And how they
yeah.
react to things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. So let's talk about trends. Did we ever wear anything that you were like, oh, you can't leave the house like that? Heather, I feel
Yeah.
like I was pretty good.
You were.
But Heather, I feel like I could see you in a crop top trying to leave the house.
I know.
Yeah, Debbie agrees with me.
No, well, okay.
I know what I was bad with.
One of the big trends when Heather was. Now, are you guys the same age?
Yep.
Jess, are you a little younger?
No,
Same age.
We're the same
Same
year.
age.
Same
Okay.
year.
She's
Okay.
she's 3 months older than me, so
Oh.
I'm the baby.
Oh.
So she is younger.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Well, that doesn't.
I'm a
count.
young 35.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, it's 36 this year, though.
Yeah.
So anyway,
The trends.
it was the really low cut jeans,
Oh, yeah.
and where the
yeah.
zipper
I
was
was
like
just
this
thinking that.
big,
Yeah. I
and
remember
then
those.
a short, like a crop top. I don't know. What did
Yeah.
you guys call
With
it?
the
A
midriff
belly
showing.
shirt.
Yes.
A
we called them
belly
belly
shirt.
shirts.
That's
back then.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
like those.
like I
The other thing that you wanted to
I
do
didn't
was
like
have your thong showing a little bit.
oh yeah.
Did you do that, Heather?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
But I also remember Heather coming home, and it was in junior high, and you can cut this out if you don't want
don't care.
anyone to hear it. But begging me for a thong.
Yeah.
Begging.
I remember that.
And because she said she was so embarrassed. She was the only girl in the phys ed change rooms
It's true.
who didn't have a thong.
Yeah, I was a pariah.
So I went out. I did go out and get you a few pair.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember the first thong was a blue one.
And then she left it on the floor, or maybe Dad was putting away
think
the
it was
laundry.
laundry.
But was it laundry? Although it could have been on the floor. You were notorious for
was
that
messy.
kind of yes. And her dad freaked out. What is that? And I was like, calm down.
It's just
All the
everywhere.
kids are wearing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like dads it's a huge learning curve for dads, for girl dads.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like
Think about
moms, we know what to expect.
Yeah.
Right? Dads have a learning curve, and that's tough for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
think
what's a
even
big
dads
deal
are
and
more
what really
protective.
isn't a big deal. So,
No, agreed.
yeah. But that was, I didn't mind that trend. But it was the really short little pants.
I remember those
and,
too. When I was
Yeah.
reading your questions, that was what came to mind. Those short little
Those very
1
low
inch,
rise
2 inch
pants.
zippers.
Yeah. The zippers
Oh.
were a joke.
The zipper, I don't even know why there was a zipper.
I know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. But it just looked so uncomfortable to me.
It wasn't very comfortable.
No. I mean, you
Everyone
guys
wore
say
them.
that now. You all say that now. But at the time.
You were always pulling them up at the back.
Always pulling them up. I constantly, I think I remember ripping a belt loop because I'd be pulling at it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't piercings come in then too? Like the nose
Belly
piercing?
button piercings.
Yeah, that
All
was
my-
the belly
A
button,
lot
like,
of my
oh,
friends
that
had
was
their
kinda-
belly buttons. Yeah.
And you begged.
You never got yours
You
done.
begged.
Did you?
No, my mom wouldn't let me, and also in hindsight, I probably would have chickened out.
You did.
I don't like pain.
Because I don't remember which birthday it was, but it was in the summer, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna call your bluff on this one. And I said, if you really want your belly button pierced, we can do it for your birthday. You won't be at school, it's in the summer, won't get infected and blah, 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 blah. And Heather just stopped. And I said, well, you think about it. You let me know if you want to do it, and we'll do it.
I'm guessing I never brought it up again.
Never heard about it again. Never mentioned it again.
Yeah.
Kristen wanted a nose piercing.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
was 16, and I just said no. And she's very persistent. She kept asking over and over and over, and I just stood my ground. And then when she was 18, she did. She went and got her nose pierced.
She
had
did.
it for about 2 weeks. Then she took it out. So just, I don't know.
That's funny.
Okay, so how much of parenting is fighting back, or is kind of like manipulating them a little bit to be like, you really want this, you can have it, just calling their bluff, like you said.
Right.
There is some of that, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
You know
some.
what's going
But
on,
you-
but you're,
It's always but I had to be prepared for her to say, yes, I want my belly button pierced.
Right. So you have to
So I had to be prepared to, fine, we'll do it.
to actually be
bit of,
okay if
like-
I did it.
Bit of a game.
well, it's reverse psychology.
Yeah.
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 I'd say it's the same, like sometimes in a
And
marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say that?
We can all talk about that.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
But the husbands don't know, though.
No, oh, no.
They have no idea.
No.
We're not going to listen to this either, so it's fine.
Yeah, we're all good.
Oh, too good. But
that's
no, it's what's bad is I find that I find myself teaching Penny reverse psychology to use on Chloe, and I'm like, I should probably not do that. But like, Chloe will be like, I want that toy, and I'll be like, Penny, just pretend you want a different toy, and then she'll want that one, and she's like, okay. So now Penny has learned to make a big deal about a toy she doesn't want.
Yeah.
So then Chloe wants that toy. I know, and I'm like, is that bad? Should I be teaching them that?
You know what?
I'll find out.
Whatever
Part of
keeps the peace.
negotiation.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it stops a
absolutely.
fight, I don't know.
Yeah, if it
I
means
know.
peace.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gives you a little peace for 10 minutes.
Okay, so I'm curious, just because this is kind of the stuff that we're, Jess and I are developing with our families. Is what was your favorite family traditions that you guys did growing up, or not when you were kids, but with us?
I think one of them, remember we used to go, besides Christmas and all those fun celebrations. Mm-hmm. When we used to go shopping, remember?
Oh, back to school shopping.
Back to school shopping, and sometimes we'd go to Seattle or whatever, we'd make it into trips.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I'd give them
that's
so
fun.
much money to spend, and we'd all go out shopping, and it was a lot.
To the Bon Marché.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot of fun. That was one thing.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's something that I want to do with my girls too. Like
Yeah.
obviously we're
Yeah.
in the age of online shopping now, but I want to take them to the mall and I want to give
Me
them a
too.
limit when they're old enough to
See how they spend it.
yeah.
And see what they
Yeah.
do with it. If they're going to buy one pair of jeans, or be smart and maybe buy some sale things and buy a few other pieces, right?
A good learning experiment too.
Absolutely.
I know we took the girls camping.
Yeah.
We started off in a tent, and we did a few years of tenting.
Yeah.
And the kids loved it.
I did. I loved camping.
Loved it. And no matter what happened, I remember one night, one of them was up all night and I was up with them. They were coughing and I thought, oh my God, they're going to wake up everybody in the whole campground. And it was cold and, it was, for my husband and I, it wasn't the best experience. And so
Right.
in the morning I said, don't worry, girls, we're going to pack up and go home today. No, I don't want to go. So we ended up staying.
They loved it.
They loved it.
Okay, ladies,
Yeah, I
moms,
have to
any final words of wisdom?
Good luck.
Yeah,
That's
that
good.
for sure. But also, I
Now
remember
that
people
hearts are grown
saying,
up and doing well.
it goes so fast. It goes so fast. And when you're in it, it feels like it's never going to end. But now I look back and it's, whoa, how
know.
did
Where did time
35
go?
years go by?
Isn't that crazy?
Really, it really does go fast.
Love them, be in the moment. I think sometimes as a parent, you've got so many things going on, it's hard to be in the moment
Yeah.
and really just enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
If
I
you
like
could
that.
go back and do that.
Try to do
That'd
that,
be my
yes.
advice,
I
yeah.
need that advice
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm so in my
but
head
that's
so many
it.
times.
We're all we've all been like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always
Complex.
rushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Rushing.
hard.
Lately I've been seeing memes where it's like, oh, how silly of me. I'm rushing through this life that I wanted so bad.
True. That's
Makes you
good.
stop and think, like,
Yeah.
or I'm rushing through these moments I only dreamed of. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Easier said than
Yeah.
done. but
Easier.
Good reminder.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the moment is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moms, thank you so much. You did awesome.
Yes.
Nice to see you
Thanks.
again.
We really appreciate you guys coming on and joining us.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was
I can
good.
keep talking if you like.
Maybe in a part two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stories just keep coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Now
we
that
gotta
I'm
get my
thinking
mom
about
off to dinner, and she's off to the Oilers playoff game tonight.
Yay.
Let's go
All right.
Oilers!
Yay, go Oilers!
Yeah, yes, that's the spirit coming from Flames country.
Yeah, I know. Well, we can't cheer for the Flames, so
Yeah.
go Oilers.
That is the spirit. I love that
Yeah.
from our southern neighbors. Of course, as always, please like, share, rate, review us. That's only how we grow. Follow, we're on
Yeah.
Instagram as Justice Gals Podcast and TikTok and YouTube. So follow along. We love to hear from you too. So
Yes, we'd love it.
Thanks for having me.
thanks for coming on, moms.
All right.
Hey, have a good night, Karen.